Namaskar and good morning. I am Dr. Kumar Shantanu from Department of Botany, Deshbandhu College. Today we are going to talk about economic importance and ecological significance of bryophytes. Bryophytes are one such group which are lesser known for their economic uses and more for their ecological significance. Today we are going to see some of those prominent uses which involves bryophyte and their uses. Studies on uses of bryophytes in the daily lives of the native people have revealed that in these regions of Himalayas, bryophytes are widely used as medicine, construction materials, insect repellents, pads and stuffings, packing, chinking materials and smoke filters, to talk very less about. Nearly 40 bryophyte species have been used as a crude drug by the Chinese people. Some of these species are Hypatix, Frulenia tamarisi, Ribbollia hemisphaerica, Conosiferum conicum, Markensia polymorpha, and amongst the mosses, Sphagnum species, Weissia controversa, Funaria hygrometrica, Bryum argentium, Rhodobryum roseum, Climatium dendroides, and Polytrichum commune. Such multiple species have been very frequently used for treating different types of ailments. For example, Markensia polymorpha is used to treat liver and other ailments. It is one of the most commonly utilized liverworts. In China, it is still used to treat the jaundice of hepatitis and as an external cure to reduce inflammation, and has gained the reputation of cooling and cleansing the liver. Rhodobryum giganteum and roseum are widely used within China for cardiovascular diseases and nervous prostrations. Similarly, Polytrichum commune is used as an antipyretic, diuretic and hemostatic ailments. Mosses like Physidens, Grimmia, Atrichum, Polytrichum and Thuidium are primarily used as an antibacterial or anti-inflammatory agents. Polytrichum juniperinum is used for some prostate and urinary difficulties. Just like that, Haplocladium microphyllum is applied for tonsillitis, bronchitis, tympanitis and cystitis. Sphagnum teres is very popular to apply for eye diseases. Similarly, there are multiple bryophyte species which are used for skin treatment, just like Himalayan Indians use a mixture of moss ashes with fat and honey mixed with it to soothe and heal the cuts, burns and wounds. For example, the species of Bryum, Nium, Philonitis fontana, Markensia polymorpha and Polytrichum juniperinum. Conosiferum conicum and Markensia polymorpha mixed with vegetable oils are used as ointments for boils, eczema, cuts, bites and burns. Bryum, Nium, Philonitis and various matted hypnaceous forms are used as padding under the splints to set broken bones. Sphagnum and Physidens edienthoides has also been used as a bandage. These uses of such bryophytic species are because of their capacity and capability to provide a stern, a firm backbone, and also their ability to retain much amount of water. So whenever these are applied, they absorb the extra oozing blood, serum or blood plasma. Sphagnum has absorbent qualities and superior to cotton, and its antibiotic qualities are an added feature. It has been used as surgical dressings because of better and faster absorption. Also, sphagnum has a unique alkaloid called as sphagnol, which is also known for its antibacterial, antimicrobial properties. So, using cotton bandages and replacing it with the bandages made up of sphagnum makes it more suitable, because it absorbs the oozing blood plasma also, and also inhibits any kind of microbial growth to the wound. Antibiotics are also one of the areas where mosses are being used. Mosses contain polyunsaturated fatty acids that are already known to have important potentials in human medicine, such as preventing atherosclerosis and cardiovascular diseases, reducing collagen-induced thrombocyte aggregation, and lowering triacyl glycerols and cholesterols in plasma. A very commonly known moss, Atrichum undulatum, is very effective against a wide range of bacteria. Similarly, Hypnum cupressiforme is effective against fungi that cause skin infections. Leafy liverwort Diplophilum albicans is actively used against human epidermoid carcinoma. It acts as anti-tumor medicine, sometimes used by native tribes. Riccardia multifida is a thallose liverwort known for its anti-leukemic activity. Similarly, Physcomitrula patens is able to produce human proteins and is the only plant being used to produce the blood clotting factor 9 for pharmaceutical uses. These days, Physcomitrula patens is very extensively used in multiple pharmaceutical uses. Mosses and many other bryophytes are also potential source of antioxidants. Markensia pellicea, Markensia linearis, and Conocephalum conicum are the potentially valuable source of bioactive materials which will be effective in protection of cellular system against oxidative damage leading to aging and carcinogenesis. Mosses are also used in construction materials. The aquatic moss Fontanellis antipyretica is used by Nordic people for filling spaces between the chimney and walls to prevent fire. Several mosses are used as chinking material. Chinks are basically the cracks or narrow fissures between two surfaces. In Alaska, chinking of wooden and log cabinets is done by using mosses. The shepherds in the Himalayan highlands also use bryophytes for chinking. In northern Europe, sphagnum is stuffed between timber and used in houses to deaden the sound, so it acts as a sound absorbing material. Mosses have also been used in making huts by herdsmen in Alps. Neckera campylonata and other mosses are used for plugging the seams and cracks of boats. These mosses, being more sturdy, are used very frequently in construction material. Mosses have also found their use as decorative materials. Dicranum scoparium is used for forming banks of green in shop window displays. Rhytidia delphus laureus is one such moss which is used as green carpet for floral exhibitions. Hylocomium splendens, when dyed or when colored, they are used to decorate a woman's hat. Mosses are very well known packaging materials also. Mosses are available for packing purposes because they have soft, elastic texture and they are not easily attracted by microorganisms. In some places, it is used for packing vegetables also. Moist sphagnum is used for packing live frogs, snakes, lizards and some insects for shipment. They provide that essential moisture to the cabinet and also they do not harm the live specimen. There are multiple household uses of bryophytes. As absorbent, it has also been used. A layer of sphagnum is used in hiking boots for cushioning the foot and absorbing moisture and odor. Dry sphagnum is used as diapers in some of the places and in cradles to keep the babies clean and warm. It is also used to make beddings, mattresses, cushions and pillows by stuffing mosses into coarse linen sacks. Mosses have also been used for the treatment of wastewater. For example, sphagnum has been used very effectively for filtering and absorbing. Mosses are effective filtering and absorptive agent for the treatment of wastewater and effluents of factories with acidic and toxic discharge containing heavy metals and many organic substances. Peat, a form of sphagnum only, can also be used as an absorbent for oil spills and as filtering agent for oily wastewater in vegetable oil factories. Mosses are used by animals as their fodder also. So, for a very long time they have been used as animal food for the herdsmen. Mosses are consumed by many Arctic and alpine vertebrates like bison, reindeer, caribou, musk ox, Arctic geese, lemmings and rodents, etc. Another interesting use of mosses is feeding to baby pigs. If pigs are born anemic, the milled sphagnum feed is ideal for binding the iron and vitamins fed to baby pigs. It has ability to absorb and hold nutrients. Sphagnum per se has a unique property of having absorbed more amount of water, and also there are multiple hyaline cells and retort cells which allow maximum absorption of water. So, when any nutrient is mixed along with water, the nutrient is also absorbed and holded within the plant body, and when such feed is given to any cattle, they are fed with the nutrient medium as well. Mosses are also used as animal shelters. Bryophytes form shelter for vast array of microorganisms, especially slime molds. Several aphids, nematodes and rotifers get shelter in moss colonies. They provide buffered temperatures and suitable humidity to these organisms. They possess chemicals that deter herbivores. The ability of mosses to be maintaining the temperature is because of they are lesser conductor of heat. So, any shelter made up of these mosses, they maintain a good insulating agent, and also they have the capacity to retain moisture. So, the shelter is having a suitable or optimal moisture in it. In horticulture, mosses are used very frequently nowadays. Bryophytes are useful in horticulture because of their high water holding capacity. You may have observed money plant or other climbers growing in pots around sticks. They are used for providing moisture to the plant. Gardeners use moss wrapped hanging baskets and pots for cultivating begonia, fuchsia and orchids. Once again, we are trying to harness the property of mosses as an water absorbent or moisture absorbent. When we use such mosses for horticulture purposes, we ensure that the growing plants, the other species of angiosperm or any other plant, they also get adequate amount of moisture through these mosses. It has been observed that when plants are grown in a pot with a layer of moss sandwiched between the humus-rich top and bottom soil, they grow well and produce buds and flowers more profusely in comparison to the ones grown without it. This is possibly because of the two factors. One, they very gradually provide moisture to the growing plant, and second, when they gradually decay, possibly they also contribute to the mineral of humus or mineral of any decaying plant. So they are providing some kind of nutrition to such pots, and also they are able to maintain an adequate amount of moisture. Mosses are used as soil additives. Moss carpet serves to stabilize the soil and retain its moisture. When sphagnum is mixed with soil or spread over the ground, it lightens soil mixture, discourages weed growth and prevents excessive drying of the upper soil layers. Mosses are used as ground cover for making bonsai. When we mix mosses in soils, it provides an adequate amount of aeration to the soil. It also helps in maintaining the overall moisture content of the soil, and thus they allow a better growth of the growing plant. Mosses also contain various antimicrobial compounds. So when we mix mosses with soil, the other weed species, they are less frequently growing on those soils, and thus the plant which we are sowing, they get proper nutrition. In bonsai, many of us know bonsai are the dwarf plants which are grown in a pot. So it is very important to provide them adequate amount of moisture. So the bonsai pots, we use mosses as the ground cover, so that the little soil which we have in the pot do not get dry very easily. So after so many of economic importance, let us talk something about the ecological role of mosses. Mosses, being the pioneer species, being the first group of land plants, they have very significant effect on the ecology of any place where they grow. Mosses are pioneers of any vegetation. Many bryophytes are the first ones to appear on open and often nutrient poor sites where no other plant is able to grow. For instance, a liverwort, Nardia esculenta, grows on bare rocks. and on recently deposited volcanic ash. Gradually, the bryophytes build up an organic layer, and that is invaded by microorganisms, resulting in changes in the mineral substratum beneath. This increased nutrient availability makes the site suitable for invasion by vascular plants. In this way, bryophytes help in succession of plants on bare rocks by becoming pioneer plant community. Pioneer plant communities are the ones which appear for the first time on any barren land. Some bryophytes like Andrea are restricted mainly to bare rock surfaces. Most of these bryophytes are highly tolerant to extended periods of desiccation. The mosses are also pioneer species on burnt sites. Every year, large areas of grasslands, temperate and tropical forests catch fire. The resulting tracts of land provides habitat for a line of succession, also called as sears, of mosses like Phaneria, Ceratodon and Polytrichum. Sears are basically those successive stages which takes place when a barren land ultimately gives rise to a floral vegetation. So, mosses are part of almost every succession event or every sear which takes place during this process. Mosses are pioneers in dune systems as well. They help in retaining moisture and stabilizing dunes that otherwise are at the mercy of wind. For example, the species of Ceratodon and Tortula. Bryophytes grow as compact cushions, forming a carpet on the forest floor. Actually, their rhizoids bind soil particles together and also interweave with the rhizoids of adjacent plants, keeping the cushion compact and difficult to detach from the soil. The soil particles thus trapped do not follow along with water during floods. Bryophytes help play crucial role in mediating soil temperature and soil moisture. Being effective insulators in frozen areas, they promote permafrost by shielding soil from heat during summer when air temperatures are above zero. So, in a way, mosses work in both ways. When the temperature is very low, they promote permafrost, and when the temperature is very high, they do not allow the soil to get dry during summers. The colonization of bryophytes on the roadside is important in stabilizing these sites. Species of Barbula, Vizia and Bryum are pioneer on new road banks. Extensive sand dune systems occur along many sea coasts of the world. Mosses play a very important role in helping to retain moisture and stabilize dunes. Such mosses can survive even if they get covered by sand. One such example is the moss Ceratodon purpureus. Bryophytes protect soil in arid areas also as components of cryptogamic crust consisting of assemblage of lichens, bryophytes, cyanobacteria, green alga, fungi and upper moist layer. Such cryptogamic crusts are common in arid and semi-arid landscapes. So, when they grow on any soil in the arid areas, they prevent those soil surfaces from other factors of erosion, thus maintaining the nutrient availability of the soil. And on such soil, other succession events could take place and other species of higher plants could grow up. Mosses also have potential as inhibitors of soil erosion due to their trample resistant structure and their regenerative ability. In present times, certain mosses like Polytrichum, Atrichum and Cerotodon are grown to prevent soil erosion around fruit trees such as apples and pears. The small structure of mosses, they help them to prevent any erosion caused by strong wind, and also their maintenance on the soil surface allows the maintenance of moisture to the soil. Mosses also help in maintaining the nutrient cycling. We shall be talking about the cycling of nutrients in our lectures to come. I hope I am been able to give you a brief glimpse of some of the importance which mosses have economically, and also the significance of mosses in our ecological system. Thank you so much.